Welcome to the adventures of our pod crew. I'm Danielle, this is Hairo, and we're traveling with our 8 dogs. We started in Costa Rica. Now we're in Guatemala, and we've just bought a sailboat.
I bet you liked that, huh, Rio?
We're making new videos every week of our adventures, so we're really glad you're here. Welcome or welcome back. This week we bound down the river to the Caribbean town of Livingston and Puerto Barrios, and we're taking you with us. So although we have a sailboat, unfortunately we're not on the water yet.
It's por ahí. I don't think it's that way, Rio. Right? Oh no, baby, don't really do it.
Just in kind of a puddle of swamp. And the boat is about 15 feet off the ground, so we made them this great ramp. And this is how they get up and down. Easy peasy. We are new to this boat life stuff, but I'll tell you, I get the biggest kick out of just going to get the groceries. We fire up our dinghy and set out. And always end up with wet pants. The good old Dinghy Wet Butt Club. While we're usually able to get our errands done right in the Rio Dulce area, sometimes we have to go all the way down to the Caribbean. It's not cold at all. We've been there a couple times already. We bravely or naively took our dinghy down once. It was actually a ton of fun, and there were some very nice parts, but it was a bumpy ride on the way back. Luckily, we kept all the dogs and ourselves in the boat, but we did lose our GoPro overboard. So it now lives at the bottom of the freshwater lake, and we let someone else do the driving. I highly recommend a trip down the river if you come to this area. The Caribbean town of Livingston has a very interesting history. It's still completely isolated in the fact that there are no roads that lead there. And it was established by runaway slaves, whose offspring are still here generations later. It's not that the towns themselves are major tourist attractions, but the trip down the river is really interesting. It's like going through a real-life Pirates of the Caribbean ride. Leaving the Rio Dulce, heading east towards the Caribbean, first you pass through the really big freshwater lake, which is beautiful, and there's all kinds of off-grid houses and hotels along the banks. Let's go back and tell you how to get started if you're interested in going down the river. Under the major Rio Dulce Bridge, is the aquatic equivalent of a bus stop. The boats are called lanchas or colectivas. They're clean and very quick, although the trip down varies between an hour or two depending on how scenic of a tour they make it. Each time we've gone, they first take you up and show you the Castillo de San Felipe, which we went to the other week if you haven't seen that video. Then they take you down the river, show you some beautiful spots where birds nest, and pick up and drop off people at very interesting locations along the way. And I've found my dream house. Then eventually you make it down to the Caribbean, to the mouth of the river, to the town of Livingston.
Hi, Jerry Pie. Hello, buddy. Hi, buddy. Come on, pruébalo, a ver. Pruébalo. Es de hombre. Es de hombre, es súper guapo. Pruébalo, a ver qué sofisticado se ve. Come on.
¿Cómo se ve? Como más rancho.
I have mine.
And that concludes our stay in Livingston for the day. Today we're heading about 30 minutes over to Puerto Barrios, but if we headed north, we could actually make it in the same amount of time to Punta Gorda, Belize. Another little tidbit, the boats heading between Livingston and Puerto Barrios don't have a set time schedule. They wait until all 14 seats in the boat are sold, and that's when they leave.
All of us sitting here waiting. And it's just like those birds over there all sitting there waiting. And then some come and go. It's like passing traffic, passing schedules, and us people sitting here doing the same.
So it seems for those of us that are spending some time in the Rio Dulce, there are basically two options of big cities where you can get stuff done. One involves an extremely terrifying shuttle ride, which is to the town of Morales, which we unfortunately go to next week. And you'll see why. I don't think I've ever been more scared, maybe equally, in my whole life. So we much prefer the scenic and fun boat ride down to Livingston and then hop over in another boat to Puerto Barrios when we need to get things accomplished that we simply can't do in the Rio Dulce. It's not really a picturesque place, but we have found some little gems. And one reason that you might come through Puerto Barrios is that you can catch direct flights to this area from Cancun. That's it for us this week. We'll see you next week as we continue to tackle boat projects and we continue to explore Guatemala. We'll have an in-depth travel guide that we're really excited to show you about Antigua, Guatemala, a place super close to our hearts. Thanks so much for sticking around to the end. Big salty kisses from the pod crew.